Hi, I'm here in Irvington-on-Hudson with Larry Reed. Larry, thanks for being with Motorhome Diaries.
My pleasure, Pete.
Larry is currently the president of the Foundation for Economic Education. Very excited to have you with us. Last summer I was at the Liberty Summer Seminar, and I was fortunate to hear Larry speak there. Like not a dry in the house, and so I'm so glad to have you with us today.
Well, thank you, Pete. That's very kind of you, but you guys at motorhomediaries.com are becoming a legend in your time, so I'm honored to be with you.
Well, thank you. We all have our comparative advantage. So my first question for you is, how did you come to develop such a strong affinity for these ideas of liberty?
I first got my start in these ideas in 1968, when I was not yet 15 years of age. The development in Czechoslovakia called Prague Spring caught my attention, and I think that was because I'd seen a movie, The Sound of Music, a few years before. The setting was not Czechoslovakia, it was Austria, but I became interested in pre-World War II history. And there was, before my very eyes in the spring of 1968, a people in Eastern Europe exerting their desire for liberty. And the whole world was watching Prague Spring and hoping that it would be allowed to blossom and the Soviets would leave it alone. But of course, as you know, in the end, the Soviets invaded in August of 1968, and I was so enraged when I first heard that news, because I'd been cheering on the Czechs, and then to see Soviet tanks and troops crossing the border and crushing this flowering of liberty. I wanted to do something, but what could you do at 14 years of age? Within a few days, I saw a little blurb in the newspaper in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, where I live, that there was a group that was going to have a demonstration in Pittsburgh in a few days to protest the Soviet invasion. So I went to Pittsburgh and participated in that, and we burned the Soviet flag, and the organization was called Young Americans for Freedom, and at that time, when you got involved with them, they gave you a subscription to the Freedom. I would never have guessed in 1968 that all these many years later I'd be leading the organization that publishes it. They gave you a copy of Hayek's Road to Serfdom and Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. So I started reading, and the more I read, the more I understood that you have to understand economics and philosophy if you really want to advance liberty. Liberty makes sense to me when you consider what we are, each of us as individuals. We're not a fleet of robots. Each and every one of us is incredibly different from everyone else who has ever lived on this planet. Well, it seems to me, for you to be fully human, to be fully what you are, you've got to be free. You have to be yourself. You can't have someone else telling you how you can conduct your life, what work you'll engage in, how many children you should. All those decisions are part of what it means to be the unique individual human being that you are. So I just thought it was a natural thing, and the more I learned about how power exerts itself, the more disgusted I was at what was being done to people, not just by communist regimes around the world, but in many cases by our own government.
Well, I'm very excited that you're now at FEE. Curious to learn what direction you plan on taking it.
FEE's work from the very beginning, 1946, when we were founded, has been aimed at relative newcomers to the freedom philosophy. To people who may just be starting to think along these lines, want to deepen their understanding. We're the outfit that tells them the economics and the moral foundations of a free and civil society, so that they can grow, maybe not just with us, but with cooperating now with so many other organizations in the movement to deepen their understanding even further. With that information, some people have gone on to start other free market groups or run for public office or any number of things. But we are essentially the organization that provides the philosophy and the economics of a free society to newcomers in the movement. That has always been our core mission and remains so today. We will be doing that in some new ways, however. We are expanding our presence on the website with increasing video presence. We're doing more and more seminars away from the headquarters to try to get out amongst people in various other states. In coming years, I suspect that FEE will reassert its long-standing position as a kind of ideological mothership of the broader freedom movement.
And for all y'all out there that don't have the pleasure of hearing Larry in person, go on their website, listen to the videos, and read what he's written. One good source for that is his book, Striking the Root, his collection of some of his best essays. So pick that up. and buy a few extra copies and give them to your friends and family. So keep fighting the good fight out there.